welcome to my channel. My name is Vic. How are you doing? I hope you're really well. Now this video is for the bookish people because I have bought, how am I going to be able to lift it? A mystery wholesale box of books. This is supposed to be 50 books and it cost me $29.99. Now I came across this on TikTok shop. My For You page did me well because a girl was opening her box of 50 books and she showed the shoppable link, so of course, for being on a budget, I had to spend some more money because I just can't stop. But I thought for 50 books, $29.99 is so reasonable. That works out to be 60p a book. And I was like, I need this. So I have opened it here because it came part opened, so I had to check that there were 50 books in here. There are actually 54 because I've had a little count just to make sure that they haven't done me dirty. So the packaging was a bit rubbish, but oh my god, let's delve into this because for 60p a book, well, it actually works out 55p a book because there's 54 in there. What an absolute bargain. Let's show you what I got. So I'm just going to blind pull these out. I have roughly seen what is in here, but I'm going to react as I pull them out because there is a mixture of ones that I've got, ones that I haven't got, and kind of mixture of some that I probably won't ever read. But let's go. So first up we have After Ever Happy. Now this is book 4 of the After series. I've read the whole After series and I absolutely flippin' loved it. I originally watched the first After film and I was obsessed with the film back when I was like 18, 19. I'm now 24, nearly 25. I loved the movie. I then read the books, and after I read the books, I hated the movie because it was so bad in comparison to the books. They then got the second movie really right, and then I don't know what they did, but they got the rest of them really wrong. So I actually don't even think I finished the whole movie series. The books, so good. Now I think these were originally, so it's by Anna Todd. It was originally like made from the Wattpad kind of sensation of like One Direction fan fiction. I think it's based on Harry Styles, although he's got nothing similar to Harry Styles. Anyway, it's a really good book. If you like kind of romantasy, a little bit of like bad boy and like romance, like an unlikely romance, then this is definitely for you. But anyway, this is like the 4th book of the After series. Now all of these are brand new, so the ones that I do have I'm probably going to sell on Vinted because it's still going to be an absolute bargain instead of paying $8.99. Perfect. So we've got that one. Next up we have the Clockwork Prince collection, Shadow Hunters, or Shadow Hunters Clockwork Prince. This is actually book 2, so not helpful if you haven't read the series. I have read the series. I actually read this series when I was in school. Absolutely loved it. I didn't watch the TV series. I think I watched the film with Lily Collins in and I loved the film. I thought it was brilliant. Then they did a series on it and the series was bad. I think I watched the first few episodes and I was like, this is awful acting, I can't finish it. Anyway, I loved the books. I won't be reading this one because I've already read it, and book 2 is a bit frustrating. If you haven't read the series, it's not going to be very helpful for you. Anyway, a good one to sell on because I've read it. Next up we have a book from Frederick Forsyth. This is the Master Storyteller Returns, The Fox. Now I think this is like a murder mystery selection. It feels very kind of like James Bond, like a bit boyish, and I love that. I'm really into these kind of like murder mystery books. I don't know if it's like about a police officer or anything. I haven't actually read through the blurb, but this does look like a good read. I've not read it before and I don't think it's part of a series. I think it's just like a one-off novel. So very happy with that. It's so tiny as well. It's such a small little book. But anyway, great. And originally $8.99, but obviously cost me 55p. So I'm going to put this in the non-read pile for me to read. I don't know when I think I'm going to read all of these books. This is my to be read pile. It's huge. I'm currently reading The Fourth Wing. I've just finished the, what is it called? Court of Thorns and Roses. Absolutely my favourite series I think I've read in a very long time. I think Hunger Games and Divergent are still really up there on my favourites, but the Court of Thorns and Roses was so good. I absolutely loved it. So now I'm on to like the fantasy, mystery, love triangle, enemies to lovers type books, which I was really hoping to find some in here. Next up we have Star Wars. Now I don't know if I'm being really silly here. I didn't realise Star Wars was books. I thought it was just a film, maybe even a game. I did not realise it was books. Now, unless they've made books after the movies because the movies were so successful, or whether I'm so stupid and they did actually start from books, I'm not sure. But anyway, this is the Star Wars Book 1 of the Darth Bane series, Path of Destruction, which I'm really excited by because I did not enjoy the films. I think I started watching the first film, I didn't like it. I'm not massively into like space, but I will try and read the books. I know obviously the big twist at the end, I'm your father, I know that, so it might be a bit different, but I'm going to try and read these, and if not, I think my boyfriend might enjoy it. I will see. He's not the biggest reader, but he does kind of read a little bit. He's been getting more into it recently, which I'm so chuffed about. But yeah, I think this is a good one, especially being the fact that it's book 1, which is so helpful. I can get stuck into this at some point in life, so that was great. Next up, we have another Frederick Forsyth. This is The Cobra. Now, I don't know whether he's just made a load of books or whether this is a series. It doesn't have a number. I hate it when books don't have numbers on the spines if they're part of a series, because then you have to try and find the series and then you have to Google which order you're supposed to read it in, and it's just so hard. Just put a number on the spine. Anyway, I think this is going to be a good one. It's an international bestseller, apparently. Next up, we have Book 3 of The Four Horsemen. Now, this gives me BookTok vibes. This looks really BookTok-y. I'm gonna have to research to see if it's a BookTok, but it's just the matte cover, the type of cover that it looks. This is giving me BookTok. They came to Earth. Oh wait, hang on. I'm not gonna read the blurb because it's book 3 and I don't want to spoil it for myself. I'm hoping there's book 1 in here because I'm gonna be really sad about that. Book 3, I mean, I'm the kind of person that will buy a whole series before reading the first book. Like, I won't just buy book 1 and see how I feel. I'll buy the whole series because I'm not going to read book 1 and then not read the others. So I'm hoping that there's going to be the others in here. Otherwise, I'm going to have to go buy them and then read them, especially as this is book 3. We shall see, hopefully. It's from Bloom, which I think is such a TikTok shop BookTok vibe. I love that. Okay, I love how you can tell just by the feel of the cover. I picked a couple of books up from the charity shop the other day and they were really heavy, really matte and really wibbly, like the kind of American like self-published books, and I could tell they were BookTok books just by the feel of them. Researched it, they were, and I got them for £1 each. I was so chuffed. Anyway, that is a good one. I'm happy about that. Next up, we have a Harlan Coben, which is really exciting because I love Harlan Coben books. I read a few Harlan Cobens, I think, before the Netflix series came out. Loved them, and then I've loved the series. Backspin, I've not read, and I don't think there's been a series about, so I don't think I know what the storyline is, which is great. I love that so much. So very excited by that. I know I'm just gonna love it. Next up, another Frederick Forsyth. I hope I like his books. The Day of the Jackal, 40th anniversary edition. Again, I think this is just a kind of, yeah, one-off story. I'm hoping he's good. Maybe he's gonna be like a Harlan Coben. I think it's gonna be exciting. Okay, I'm gonna try and rattle through these because we're gonna be here forever otherwise. There's 50. Next up, we have The Prisoner of Heaven, Carlos Ruiz Zafón, from the author of The Shadow of the Wind. Now, this initially doesn't look like a BookTok book. However, The Shadow of the Wind sounds like one. Just fiction. Okay, so I thought it was originally going to be a historical just from the kind of cover, but it's actually fiction. So this could be right up my street. Oh, there's like artwork. Love that. That's great. Okay, cool. A new author. I actually love that. I don't tend to get too involved in the authors. I'll have a look at a book. I am a book cover judger. If it looks like a bad cover, I won't pick it up. If it looks like a cool cover, I will. I don't care about the author. Like, usually I don't kind of take note. Do I even know who wrote my favourite books? I'm very good with authors. That's really bad. I know Colleen Hoover because she's recent, and her kind of books are a bit more childish for me. I love them. I think I would have loved them way more if I was back in school, maybe 12, 13, because that's the kind of stuff I read when I was that age. Now I'm 25, I find them a bit predictable and a bit young, even though they've got some heavy topics. But, you know, I'm a Jacqueline Wilson child. I've read some heavy topics at a young age, and Colleen Hoover is nothing when you're 25. Anyway, I should probably get to know authors, because if I start liking their content, like Harlan Coben for example, I then know which books I'm gonna love. So I'm excited to try a new one. Another Harlan Coben. This is great. This one is One False Move. Again, not one I've seen or read, so that's brilliant. Love that. We have After Ever Happy. Have we just had that? Brilliant. Okay, we have two of the same, and both of which I've read because it's the same book. This one is a shiny version. You can see my ring light there. Oh my god, I don't know what's happened to my ring light, but it is so much brighter than it usually is. So when I'm trying to look at these, I actually can't see the titles because my eyes are like blinded. I don't know if you can tell, I don't know what's happened to it. Anyway, and then we've got a matte one. So yeah, that's great. Thank you for that. Why would they put the same book in the box? Obviously that's not going to be helpful. Anywho, I'll put that to the side. Okay, we have another Star Wars. This one is book 3. That's not very helpful. I hope there's a book 2 in here. But okay, so we've got book 1 and 3. That's great. I wonder how many, there's like, what, 12 of these? Surely. There's 12 movies. I'm gonna have to research to see if they had the books first or whether they are just making books out of the films. Because that'd be interesting. Do they even do that? Is that a thing? Do you make books out of films? Why not? Anyway, that's great. Next up, we have J.D. Kirk, The Last Bloody Straw. Oh, can you see that? I don't know why it's sealed in itself. That's so bizarre. I've seen that before with like multiple books. Why is it on its own? Anyway, that's fine. This looks like a kind of murder mystery, a DCI Jack Logan novel. So it might be one of many, but I think you can probably pick out of different ones. Great, love that. That's going to be in like the Harlan Coben, Frederick Forsyth pile, which is good. I have another Harlan Coben here. Deal Breaker, the #1 bestseller. I don't think I've seen or read this one either, which is really lucky and great. I've got some cracking reads to get on with this year. I don't think I'm going to get through them this year. I don't think I've ever read 54 books in a year in my life. I don't know. I'm on my second book of the year and we're halfway through Jan. It's not going to happen, is it? Anyway, add that to the list. Next up, we have The Great Gatsby by R. Scott Fitzgerald. Now this is a classic and I've never read it, and I actually haven't read many classics. I've heard the film is really good. I also haven't watched the film, but because it has Leonardo DiCaprio in, I just know it'll be good. I'm amazed because I'm pretty sure the film is like 3 hours long. That's a really small book. Interesting. Anyway, really excited to read that. I really want to one day get all the cloth bound classics. I don't know if anyone has seen those before, but I think they look so pretty, so I do want to get those because this is more like it feels like a school version, like you'd find at school, and I want to get like a pretty version, but it'd be good to read it because you gotta read the classics. I usually struggle with the classics. I like a fairy, I like a dragon, I like something a bit dystopian. The classics can be a hard read, but I'm still intrigued to read them. A Royal My Story. I used to love these. Oh, this is Anastasia, a Russian Grand Duchess's Diary 1914. I literally used to read these as a kid. I think I read like the World War II UK ones, so this will be quite interesting. I think I will read this one. I know it's more of like a kid's one, but I think they'll be really interesting to read, especially considering I'm probably not likely to ever go to Russia in my life, unfortunately. I'd like to have, but maybe not at the moment. This will be really cool to read, so that's a fun little one, and it's not too kind of big, so a nice light heart. I don't know, might not be a light heart read, we'll see. We have a Sherlock Holmes escape book. Oh, is this what? The Adventure of the Tower of London. There is nothing more deceptive than obvious fact. A Sherlock Holmes escape book. An escape book is a unique form of puzzle book in which the unwary may become trapped for eternity. Oh my god, it's an escape room in a book. That is so cool. Can you see that? It like spins around. What the hell? I love Sherlock Holmes. I haven't actually read Sherlock Holmes, but I've watched the series, I've watched the movies. I absolutely love it. I should really invest in the books. I'm just gonna open up. Oh my gosh, this is so cool. Okay, so it gives you different scenarios. So if you like, this is so cool. I'm flicking through, but I don't particularly want to spoil it too much. This is gonna be such a good rainy day book. So it says, if you wanna go to this room, turn to 65. If you think you should take this route, go to 80, but if you want to go here, go to 33. So you have to go to different pages in the book and figure it out. Oh my god, that is so cool. Why have I never heard of that concept before? What the hell? I am excited to like read and delve through this. This would be good for like a plane. Like just dive through. Oh my god, that excitement. Okay, this was originally $9.99. Escape book. I'm gonna have to research these if this is any good. Okay, originally $9.99. That's really good because it was like 50p. Oh, I'm really excited by that one. Tess Gresten, Die Again. Oh, a Rizzoli and Isles thriller. He left her for dead, but she came back. Oh, cool. Okay. Again, I think this might be like a Harlan Coben detective one-off, like big series, but you can like have one-off books. So that's really good. Again, it's really like small. It's like chunky, but small. But anyway, really excited by that. That was originally £9.99. Oh, the thought of spending £10 on a book makes me really upset, considering I spent £30 on 50. Anyway, really happy. Putting that in the like Harlan Coben one-off detective pile. Next up we have, The Four Horsemen book 1. Okay, so we've got book 1 and 3. I really hope there's book 2 in here, because I'm going to be upset if there isn't. At least I can try book 1, and then if it's good I can get book 2 without stressing too much. So can I read the back of this now, because it's book 1. They came to Earth. Prestigious war, famine, death. 4 horsemen riding their screaming steeds, racing on the corners of the world. 4 horsemen with the power to destroy all of humanity. They came to Earth and they came to end us all. This sounds so good. Okay, this is my kind of book. I'm excited, especially because I know it's a series. Sometimes I struggle to get into one-off books because you don't learn much about the character. I think if it's one-off like big series like Sherlock or Harlan Coben's not too bad, but sometimes I think, why am I reading this? Because in a minute the book's going to be finished and I will forget about the characters. Whereas if it's a series, I get so into it because obviously you get to know the characters and then you know there's more coming. I'm really excited by this. This seems like such a BookTok book. This is really good. Originally also £8.99. Cost me 55. Oh, P. That's so exciting. Okay, come on. Book 2. Let's hope it's in here. Right, next up, deep dive. We have another Tess Grittisson. If I'm saying that wrong, I'm so sorry. So another Rizzoli and Isles thriller. Keeping the Dead. He hides, he kills. Who will he choose next? Great, another like one-off detective. I want to get into my murder mysteries this year. Crikey, there's so many of them. I also love, like, it's really nice to hold because it's a small one. Next up, we have Elena Ferrante, the international #1 bestseller, The Lying Life of Adults, made into a Netflix series. Now, you know, if it's made into a Netflix series, it's gonna be good because obviously there was good traction. They had the money to put it into a series. I've not heard of this or even seen it on Netflix. So I'm really excited because I also love reading a book when I know there's going to be a movie of it, because although I will end up screaming at the screen and telling the screen that it's all wrong and that's not how the book said, I still really enjoy it. So I love reading a book when I know I can then go and see the characters come to life. Very excited. Lovely. Jade City by Fonda Lee. This gives me like wicked Wizard of Oz vibes, like the Jade City. What's this? An epic drama reminiscent of the best classic Hong Kong gangster films, but taking place in a fantasy metropolis so gritty and well imagined that you'll forget you're reading a book. Jade is the lifeblood of the city of Jaloon, a stone that enhances a warrior's natural strength and speed. It is mined, traded, stolen and killed for, all controlled by 2 families equal in their power and ruthlessness. When a modern drug emerges that allows anyone, even foreigners, to wield jade, simmering tension between the 2 clans erupts into open war. Okay, it's definitely nothing to do with Wizard of Oz, but that sounds really good. Also, it's the kind of BookTok feel. I don't know if that makes sense, but like the matte feel. Love it. I think shiny books are a little bit more old school. I don't know why, but a matte book, it tickles my brain. I love it. That sounds really good. I love it. Oh, I'm excited. All I want to do now is sit and read. I love this. I know for a fact that I probably won't touch these books for ages because I've got such a long to be read pile. Anywho, right, next up we have an international bestseller, Anthony Robbins, author of Awaken the Giant Within, Unlimited Power, the New Science of Personal Achievement. Oh, okay, so it's like a self-helpy book. I actually like these self-help books. I don't read a lot of them, but I like reading this kind of stuff. I've never heard of this chap before. Originally, this was $10.99. If you ever dreamed of a better life, Unlimited Power will show you how to achieve the extraordinary quality of life you desire and deserve. Cool. Sounds good. I wonder, whoa, it's alive. I wonder what gems are in there. Okay, I'm gonna put that in the like non-fiction, is it non-fiction? Yeah, non-fiction section. First one of its kind. That's cool. I like that there's a different mix of genre here. It's not just all of one thing. It's like a little bit of everything, which is really good. Next up, we have, ooh, this looks fun. I think it's had like some issues because there's like a folded page. But this is A Spotter's Guide to Countryside Mysteries from the author of The Forager's Calendar. Oh, this looks so cute. This is like a kind of, I like watching my countryside documentaries, so like Escape to the Chateau and Grand Designs and things like that. This is giving me that vibe and I really like it. It's not a book I would have picked out. Oh look, there's a, that's nice. There's a picture of cuckoo spit. What? I did not realise, sorry, I did not realise foam on grass is cuckoo spit. Okay, this is going to be quite educational, but I think this is so cool. They've got pictures and all sorts. I'm going to learn about the countryside, and I love the countryside. I live in it. I'm going to learn about it. This is really cool. Okay, happy with that. Next up, we have After. So in case I hadn't read it, which I have, this is book 1 to the series. So now I've got book 1 and 4 and 4 again, which is good. Cool, love that. That's going in the sell pile because I've read it. Next up, we have The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck. Great! I've read this one. I'm pretty sure I have, unless they've done several different books. Originally, I think this must have come from the US because it's $17.99. That is obscene. Nearly $20, which is like £15. For a thin book. Shocking. I think I've watched it. I think they've done a series on it and I think the series was actually weird. I think like the episodes were very, very, very strange and it was like very bitty and a bit nothingy. I might read it, I might not. I'm not sure about this one. I know it's supposed to be really good and I think I may have read it. Or it's very strange. I don't know. But still, a very famous one, which is great to be in here. Next up, we have the Adiyogi, The Source of Yoga. Oh, okay, cool. Do you know what? I've not done a lot of yoga before, but I think this, like, reading on the history of it would be quite interesting. I'm not usually into, like, my historical books, but I feel like this would be quite an interesting one. This gives me, like, Ancient Apocalypse. I don't know if anyone has seen that series. Vibes like that. I don't know. A bit historical, a bit mystical. That would be quite a good read, I think. I don't know where it's from, if it's the UK or the States, because it doesn't have like a price on the back of it. Next up, we have Elena Ferrante. Okay, I think I've been recording for too long and my camera just cut out. But we have an Elena Ferrante, The Days of Abandonment. Now this one doesn't look as good as the other one that was on Netflix, but I think if she's a good author, it's going to be a good book. It's a nice little novella, so that'll be a like easy read. Next up we have another Harlan Coben. This one is Fade Away. Again, I don't think I've seen or read this before, so I'm getting really lucky here because he's done a lot and I've read a few of his and I've watched quite a lot of his. So to get all different, very chuffed with that. So that is 4 Harlan Cobens now. I can't go wrong really. I know I'm going to enjoy them. Next up we have another Frederick Forsyth. Okay, really hope I like his because there's a lot of them. This one is The Dogs of War. Great, exciting. These might be, like, I feel like my dad would enjoy this series. He quite likes like a book that looks like this. So I might have a little read, but then I might just give them to him. Next up we have, book 4 of The Fourth Horseman. So what have we got? 1, 3 and 4. Oh my god, if there's not 2 in here, I'm gonna be so sad. Okay, we've got quite a few chunks left. Okay, book 4. I'm not going to talk much about it, I already have, but book 4, come on, book 2, we've got this. 22 Seconds by James Patterson and Maxine Petro. I think I've read some of his books before, that rings a bell, that name. 22 seconds until Lindsay Boxer loses her badge or her life. Basically like a detective murder mystery again. Love that, can't go wrong. We have A Game of Retribution, Hades Saga. What book is that? Doesn't say. Oh, why? Okay, Saga is 3, right? So maybe, don't know. But I've just read the first few pages and it comes with a suicide warning, which means it's got some gnarly, gritty stuff in it. Which is everything I like in a book. If there's a warning or a disclaimer in the front of it, I love it. Actually, that being said, I read Haunting Adeline. Horrified, shocked, scarred for life. Don't think I'd read that again. Crikey, I understand the warnings of it. Yeah, so sometimes a warning and a disclaimer is great, sometimes it's a bit much. Anyway, I feel like this will be good. I'm going to have to research which number of the saga this is. A Series of Unfortunate Events, book the first. Oh, I used to love this was it a series or was it a movie? I felt like it might have been a series and a movie, but I watched the one with Jim Carrey in it. Flippin' loved it. It creeped the hell out of me as a kid, but I loved it so much. I actually don't think I've ever read it. Would I read it now? Potentially would read it now, actually. I don't know. It depends. I might not. But I don't know how many there are in the series. But I'm glad it's book one and not book anything else. Oh my god. These book covers give me the ick so bad. I don't know if anyone thinks this. When you go into like the Works or Waterstones, I think it's mainly the Works, or like Asda, their book section, and they've got the BookTok, so like the BookTok type books, and then they've got these type of books, and you're like, who's designing these covers? Because they make me like giving like old school, outdated book style. These are the ones that are left in the charity shop that no one's picking up. Anyway, before I shit talk it, it might actually be good. So it's called The Misfit. An abandoned baby, a damaged child, can Rebecca escape her broken past? Sounds quite good though. I might just have to give it a read. I do love the pink purple colour, but I don't know, I feel like the design could be better. But it doesn't mean it won't be a good book. I'll give it a go. Next up, we have The Occasional Virgin. Ooh, by Hannah Al-Shakar. I've never heard of them ever. Hanan, sorry, I think I said that wrong. But I've not heard of them before. Originally $16.99. Ooh, this gives me like holiday book vibes. What is it about? Huda and Ravon are on holiday in the Italian Riviera, enjoying the sun and sparkling Mediterranean holiday vibes, reminiscent of their childhoods in Lebanon. Yvonne doesn't know what she's doing wrong, either there or back in London, where she runs an ad agency. That sounds like digital marketing. That's what I do. She seems to spend her time waiting for the right man to come along and not leave again just as quickly. Her friend Huda has no problems in this department, only she isn't really interested in her effect on men till Hisham comes along. But it isn't love spurring Huda on, it's her desire to teach him a lesson. Because while you can't escape your past, you can perhaps avenge it. Don't know, I feel like that's just gonna be like a girly romance, which is not usually me. There's no like mystical creature in there. But I'm gonna give it a go because I feel this is gonna give me, I think I might read this in summer because this is giving me summer holiday vibes and I'm here for it. I do like the cover. It's cool. Ah, a Colleen Hoover. Here I am talking bad about her writing. Her writing's fun and it's very twisty and turny and I would have loved it as a kid. This, however, was actually my favourite book of hers. It was like the third one I read and I think it's the one I enjoyed the most. That one and Verity were better in my opinion, although I did watch It Ends With Us and I thoroughly enjoyed the movie way better than I enjoyed the book, so there we go. But I will be putting this in the sell pile because I've already read it. Now we have, oh, another series of Unfortunate Bed, book 8. I thought it said 18 for a second and I was like, surely not, there's not 18. Book 8, well that's really helpful because I've got book 1. Okay, hopefully, I mean there's not going to be 8 books in there, I can tell by the look of it, but still, if I want to dip to book 8, we can. A Stephen King novel. Oh, okay. I've got quite a few Stephen King books. I've never read them because they're about that big and I get a bit terrified. Also, I read to like escape reality, and if like the escapism is a horror, which like I've got It, I don't know why I have it. I think Mum gave it to me for Christmas once and I'm too scared to read it because I don't want to wind down and be in a horror. If that makes sense. I don't know if reading horror is different to watching horror, but I hate scary movies. I did watch It and it was terrifying. It was okay, I would watch it again. I don't know about being in that world for like a long time, because if the book's that big, you're going to be reading it for a long time, which means you're going to be in that world for a long time. Do I want to be in a horror world? I don't know if I do. But anywho, this one is The Wind Through the Keyhole. So this is a Dark Tower novel. I feel like I've seen The Dark Tower and I really liked it. Have I read it? I don't know. That rings a bell. I feel like I might have watched The Dark Tower and it was a bit weird, like a bit outdated. Anyway, the books might be really good actually. I don't think this is book 1 though, which is annoying. Because yeah, if it's a Dark Tower novel, the book 1 would be The Dark Tower. I might have to invest. I might have to invest in that one because this does actually look like a good series. Next up we have Find Me. What? This is in the Shatter Me novella. I didn't know this existed. Okay, so I read the Shatter Me books last year. Absolutely loved them. I actually was one of the quickest series I've ever read. I don't usually read very fast and I got through that series really quickly. I did not know there was a novella. Find Me. This is, by the looks of it, in the point of view of Kenji. I loved that character so much. Oh, that's great news. Okay, I'm really excited by that because although it's not book one, I've read all the books anyway and I didn't know this existed. So that is very exciting and I'm very happy with that. Next up, we have a Patricia Cornwell Scarpetta. Again, I think this looks like a one-off kind of agenty murder mystery. It's just so diddy. Why it, like, compared to the Harlan Coben's, which is a normal sized book, look at it. It's diddy. I mean, it's fat, but it's diddy. And even, like, does it fit within... Do you see what I mean here? Anywho, that is going to go in the one-off detective pile. Love it. Now we have another novella, no way. Destroy Me and Fracture Me, the Shatter Me novellas. So there's 2 in 1 here. Juliet will not stand alone in the battle. What? Okay, I didn't know this existed either, and I'm really confused as to what point of view where this comes into the story. I might have been missing quite key points in the storyline, but I thought it rounded off quite nicely. Anyway, very excited to read that, and because it's thin, I should be able to get through it quite quickly. Next up, we've still got so many more. We have After We Collided, so this is book 2. So do we have book 1, 2 and 3 now? 1, 2 and 4, and also 4. Really helpful. But anyway, I'll probably sell these on as like a collection and make it quite cheap for people, so that, because like brand new, this whole series is like £20, so I might just sell it on Vinted for like £5 for the 3, which I think is pretty reasonable, and a little bit of profit just for my efforts, you know, why not? Next up we have the Dragon Keeper. Oh, I like the feel of this one. This one has like scales. Oh, I love that. Oh, my battery's dying. Okay, 1 minute. Okay, just changed the battery. Where was I? This one here I really like because it's got a really matte papery feel, and if you can see, there's like dragon scales. This sounds cool. Dragons have returned to the world, guided by the dragon Tintaglia. The serpents came from the sea to fight their way up to the Rain Wild River. It sounds like it's purely from a dragon's point of view, which is quite cool. Very excited by that. I'm in my dragon era right now with Fourth Wing. Love it. Next up we have a cookbook. Okay, I love cookbooks so much. I was expecting a cookbook in here, to be honest. The 30-minute diabetes cookbook. Okay, well, I don't have diabetes, but I mean, I'd love to prevent it, so great. I mean, eat to beat diabetes with 100 easy low-carb recipes, even if I have diabetes or not. Like, that sounds great. Oh, look at those, they look yummy. Oh, I love a recipe book so much. I really need to get into making new like food, because I've got into such a habit of just eating the same boring stuff. So a recipe book, I love it. Quick ragu on Savoy Pezzy. Oh, this sounds so nice. Very happy about that. I did not realise I was getting a recipe book. UK £20 RRP. Cost me 55. Amazing. Okay, we're coming to the last few-ish. Next up we have a Robert Goddard The Panic Room. I feel like I've read this. This rings a bell. RRP was £18.99. Okay, it's a little bit damaged, but I'm not fussed about that. I actually don't mind. I don't usually keep books. Once I've read them, I will sell them, unless they particularly have a bit of art on them or they have been genuinely my favourite book series. I usually just sell them on, so I'm not too fussed about, especially a dust cover. That's absolutely fine. Looks like it was from Waterstones. I don't know where these books came from. I will try and leave the details down below in the description box about where I bought them from. I did buy the last box, so I don't know whether it was a one-off seller that sold like a few surplus boxes of books. I don't know, or whether they'll come back in stock and they'll do more. I don't know where these books have come from, but obviously some have come from Waterstones, so maybe it's like surplus stock, job lot, wholesale stuff. I don't know, but I'm not complaining. I could easily open a bookshop with this. Oh my god, that would be the dream. Having a cafe bookshop. Anywho, sounds good. Next up we have a, oh, is that anime? It is. So this you'd have to read this way around and go this way. So it's like back to front for me, but this is how people would read it, I think. It's in English, which is great, which means I can actually read it. That is super fun. I've actually never read any anime before, so very exciting indeed. Okay, we have a Charlie Higson's The Fallen. The enemy is closer than you think. He didn't know exactly what he was expecting on the other side of the door, but it wasn't this. The sickness struck everyone over 14. First it twisted their minds, then ravaged their bodies. Now they roam the streets, crazed and hungry. It's a zombie book. I actually love zombies. Cams and I, my boyfriend, just bought The Last of Us. Is it The Last of Us? Malfunction. The Last of Us, so the one that was mushrooms and cordyceps. We've just bought that on PlayStation and we're playing it together. I'm just watching and like shouting at him for like getting killed and he's playing. I loved the series so much. I absolutely love like zombie type movies. I've never really read any zombie books. I've read Warm Bodies, where she falls in love with a zombie. Absolutely loved that movie, loved that book so much. So very excited to get into like a zombie type series one day once I get through all of these. Very good indeed. Love that. It does sound like a bit of a kiddie one because everyone over the age of 14, so like when you hit a certain age you get sick. Interesting. So it's probably going to be from a 14-year-old's point of view, which is a little bit younger than me, but it doesn't look like a kid's book, you know. Exciting. Right, we are coming to the end of the box. We've got a couple left. Let's pick them all up at once. What have we got here? I can see some more Charlie Higson. We've actually got 2 more Charlie Higson. We've got The Hunted in the End. So I'm guessing it is actually a series. But anyway, they look really good, so I might have to. When I go into charity shops, to be fair, I have been going in and kind of browsing the books, but not really taking much notice in the books. Only recently have I realised I need to get together a list of parts of series that I don't have yet, that I look for every time I go into a charity shop, because then I can get it a lot cheaper than having to buy full price, because especially if I don't know if I'm going to like the series or not. So I'm probably going to do that with those, and I'm going to do that with the 4 Horsemen, although because that's a BookTok I can't imagine it's going to be in charity shops, but it could be. I've just noticed something's happened to this poor book. It's got a chunk out of it. It's literally printed strangely. How funny is that? I don't mind because it doesn't stop the reading, but that is so bizarre. Anyway, we've got the last 4 books. So next up we have Sue Townsend, Adrian Mole and the Weapons of Mass Destruction, number 7. I mean, credit where credit is due. They've put it on the spine, but it's book 7. Thanks for that. Okay, apparently it's a #1 bestseller, the funniest book of the year. Wednesday, April 2nd, my birthday, I'm 35 today, I'm officially middle-aged. I don't think this is going to be my kind of book. I might have to research this. This might be a sell-on one, especially book 7. There might be someone that's read 1 to 6 and really wants to read number 7. So they can get a bargain, but that's cool. It's also really diddy as well. Again, these are so small, but kind of handy to hold. Next up we have a very aesthetic looking book. I like the colour. Things No One Taught Us About Love, How to Build Healthy Relationships with Yourself and Others. This was like a coffee table book. I really like this. This, okay, so like, it's kind of like this. You kind of probably just go, read. So, let's see. If you're flexible with your boundaries, people will be flexible with how they treat you. Such a good point. I love that. Okay, cool. This is going to be one to like flick through and have a just look, pick up and grab. I do kind of like these books. They also make good gifts as well. Although not many of my friends are readers, but I feel like this is just like a cute, like self-helpy, motivational book. Let's have another one. Those who are comfortable being alone can often love deeply and purely because they are not sharing to receive, but simply giving. There you go, fact of the day. Right, enough of that. 2 more books. What's the next one? We've got I'm Worth More. Here we go, more self-help. Realise your value and unleash your potential. The little picture of a diamond. Actually, that's quite cool. I do like self-help, kind of like motivational books. So that's another one that can go in the pile. Haven't had too many, which is not too bad. I think it's been like the perfect mix. Then last up we have what looks like a goosebumpy book. I never read those, and because they just feel a bit old school. This gives me old school, like things you'd find in a charity shop vibe book. It's James Herbert, Haunted. I wonder if this is like book 7. Interesting, fair enough. Fiction, it was $8.99. It says 3 nights in which 3 nights of terror at the house called Edbrook. 3 nights in which David Ash, there to investigate a haunting, why can't I read that word, will be a victim of horrifying, maleficent games. 3 nights in which he will face the blood-chilling enigma of his own past. 3 nights before Edbrook's dreadful secret will be revealed, the true nightmare will begin. Remember with fear. That does actually sound really good. It's just, I'm not a fan of the cover. It seems so old school even though it's brand new. Anywho, that is everything. Wow, I've been talking for a long time. I am so amazed and so chuffed with this. Overall, 54 books. So instead of it being 50, 4 more. I was not expecting that at all. Actually, when I saw the parcel turn up today and it was completely battered and open, I thought I was going to get less than 50. So the fact that I've got 54 is amazing. That actually covers. So overall, I actually have 6 books that I've already read. So if we were going off the initial 50, that's only 2 books out of the 50. Which is incredible. Considering I have such a huge collection of books, I was expecting way more than that. So I'm very, very chuffed indeed. The fact that it's about 55p per book makes this so good. I actually have no faults with this box apart from its delivery and the fact that it was absolutely battered. So maybe they could put it in a bigger, more sturdier box. But wow, the price, the speed that they delivered it. I ordered it literally a few days ago and it arrived today. I'm thoroughly impressed. I will try and put as much detail as I can in the box below. If you follow me on TikTok, I've actually got 3 TikTok accounts going at the moment. I've got my thrifting, my personal, and my reviews. I'm still undecided on where I'm going to post my unboxing video of when I first initially opened it up and checked how many books there were. I think I'll probably do it on my general personal account, which I will link below. So take a check out there. If they are in stock, I'll link the product below so that you'll be able to shop it if you want. Because if you like books and you've got in your budget £30, it's definitely worth it. And if you're actually on a budget, it's probably worth, this is my girl math, if you're on a budget, it's worth spending 30 quid. No Vic, it's not, just don't spend money. But if you are on a budget but you want to read a lot, this would be the way to do it, because you can invest once at the start of the year, £30, and then you've got loads of reading material. That's what I keep telling myself, but I keep doing that around everything and then buying loads of stuff. So please don't use me as your finance coach guidance, because I'm just chaos when it comes to spending money. Anyway, in terms of the books, I'm very, very happy and I would definitely recommend. I might do like a video later down the line to give you a review of the books that I've read. If you'd be interested in that, let me know. Also, if there were any books you did want me to review or anything you wanted me to do in terms of bookish content or any recommendations on where to buy books, I mean, no, I don't need any more, but still, any recommendations, let me know in the comments, or come say hi, come and introduce yourself if you're new here. Let's have a little chat in the comments. Thank you so much for watching. If you've got this far, well done, you deserve a medal for listening to me talk for so long. I really appreciate it. If you did enjoy, please hit the thumbs up and subscribe, but only if you want to, and if you want to see a bit more of me. I will see you on the next one. Bye!